So we added new shields to the bare default data pack. No longer is there only one tier of shields. You can still get the vanilla shield in the creative inventory, alright? The item still exists, but the crafting recipe has been removed, alright? If we try to craft the vanilla shield, which is made with 1 ingot and 6 wood, it outputs nothing. If we inverse the crafting recipe though, put the wood here, alright? And then we put the iron around it like this, we craft the iron shield. And that kind of gives you a look at how all of them are crafted, because basically you just replace the iron for any other material, right? And you craft yourself a different tiered shield, right? I've got all of them. It starts with wood, the wooden shield. I think it looks quite nice. It looks kind of gladiatorial in my opinion. You know, it's pretty simple. It's round. It's definitely different from the other shields. The other ones are pretty rectangular still. But I just really needed a round wooden shield in my pack. And I just think this is a great vibe. And the clue is that they all have different durability, obviously, because they're different tiers, but also block different damage values, right? And right off the bat, I'll say that the Netherite shield is the only shield that blocks 100% of damage. So this is somewhat of a nerf to shield. But on the other hand, once you get Netherite, your shield won't burn in lava. So that's a buff to shields. So we just kind of added a progression tree to shields. And I don't know why vanilla Minecraft doesn't do that, you know, like have a Netherite shield, even if it just doesn't burn. That's pretty exciting. It should, there you go. Look, it truly works. And the other ones just, you know, perfectly burn just fine, like that one. I guess I'll just make myself a new one. But that's also the point of the wooden shield, because they're very cheap to make. Look at this. The recipe is simply this. It blocks 60% of all incoming damage, which is quite a lot in actual gameplay. We'll put it to the test in survival here. There's a husk here, so he won't burn. And I'm just gonna let him attack me. And he does inflict the hunger, but that's pretty normal. But see, he can't actually damage me that much. So the wooden shield already works great. It's dipping into my health a little bit now. But the worst part is probably gonna be the durability. And also the knockback could like really throw you off, you know. And with a Netherite shield, you won't have that at all. You know, it just functions like the vanilla shield. Completely evades any attack. But that's pretty OP. I never understood why they don't have tiered shields. I was trying to get my shield to have durability, because the wooden shield also has some nice durability dependent textures, right? Like, look at that. It gets some scratches in it, which I think is nice, because the wooden shield durability goes quite quick, you know, so you might go through a lot of them. So both the copper and the golden shield both negate 70% of all incoming damage. So that's a lot, you know. You're already extremely shielded with this, only taking a little bit of damage right now. It does consistently knock me back though still. Golden shield is more kind of added just for the fun. Why would you use a golden shield? I do not recommend it. But the copper shield, you know, copper is a great material. I love copper armor that we have now in copper tools. I think it's so cool. And I will definitely be tearing through some copper shields, right, in my survival gameplays. Now we're up to the iron shield, which in first person looks a lot still like the vanilla shield. So if you missed the vanilla shield texture, you know, just go for iron. The iron shield already blocks a lot of attacks, because it blocks 80% of all incoming damage. And I guess a pillager attack is just not enough to penetrate that damage force field or something. It's just the way damage is calculated in Minecraft. So an iron shield will already shield you from a lot of incoming attacks. So it already works kind of like the vanilla shield. It's just a little bit more expensive, right? You need more iron for it. But that also makes sense to me. I thought shields were pretty cheap for 100% damage deflection all the time. But let's get a creeper in here and see how much damage it does, because it will definitely penetrate the shield, right? The blast of it. Two hearts it took. Let's try that too for reference with the diamond shield, right? We're gonna block a creeper attack with the diamond shield and see how much damage it deflects. It only takes half a heart, so that's pretty good. And then the netherite shield, it should completely take no damage at all. So if you shield it properly, you can still shield from a creeper, you just need netherite. Alright, and all the other shields, I mean, starting from iron, it's already a really solid shield, you know. And then at that point, we're just buffing the shields by giving you more durability, basically, right? And at the very end game, you can even make your shield not burn in lava. So that's basically the gist of it. Guess the painting! I took a picture of something in my house and I scaled it down to the size of a Minecraft painting. And if you guess correctly what it is, you get to add one rename with me to the pack. One cosmetic item. Guess what this is a picture of? Let's see one of the shield renames in my pack. It works for the vanilla shield, so I'll show you what it looks like, right? It projects like a laser shield like that. But with the data pack, the renames like those, like the fancy ones, like the redstone riot shield, it doesn't work on the other tiers. They only work with the netherite shield. So if you're playing with the data pack, the renames are now once again locked behind netherite, as it should be. It makes a lot more sense for a robotic laser shield, you know, it justifies it a little bit more. And also I just really like it, you know. Netherite is a pretty hard tier to get. A lot of people don't even get to it. They feel like the upgrade's not worth it. And I hope by adding cosmetics, you know, it kind of makes it more worth it. And I just like it. I like building a progression tree, you know. So yeah, you can still get renames for all the shields, just not for the other tiers. Well, actually, there are some renames for the other tiers. For example, the netherite shield in my pack, or previously the default shield, had a command block shield. If you remember, I'd say it's pretty iconic. Goes great with a netherite sword if you call it command block sword. And let's enchant it with sharpness 2, so it becomes bigger, as you can see. And now we have this cool command block getup, right? So this is possible both in vanilla Minecraft without the data pack and also with the data pack. But with the data pack, it requires a netherite shield, which makes sense because the rename of the command block shield always looked like netherite. And if it works with netherite, then I also had to add it for diamond. So the diamond tier also has a command block shield now. Look at that. Pretty swazzy. mean, people have recommended this for a long time. So if you're someone who doesn't get netherite, you can still rock your command block get up. Tiny little detail though about the netherite shields is we can't really do MBT smithing right now. We couldn't make it smithable. So the way to get a netherite shield is actually pretty quirky. You craft 6 diamonds, it's pretty expensive, and 1 netherite ingot. Right, it's a crafting recipe, that's how you make it. So that's a bit quirky. In the future, when we get better data pack capabilities, we'll make it smithable, but prioritize appropriately, right, knowing this information. But there's also renames for all the tiers of shields. So for example, my pack always had a Vanguard shield, right, it's inspired by Minecraft Dungeons. And I've now made that netherite looking, so it'll match if you have a netherite shield with the data pack. And that rename is also available for all the tiers, as well as some other ones. So the Vanguard shield, you know, this will be nice for decoration. You can make a wooden one, you know, hanging on some item frames, or copper is also a pretty durable resource to get. And mobs will actually spawn with these shields in the wild as well. So we have Vanguard skeletons in the desert, also a reference to Minecraft Dungeons, and those now just have tiered shields. And we also added piglins spawning in the world with the piglin shield. That's another rename, right? You just rename shield to piglin shield, and it looks like this. It's pretty quirky. It's based on Minecraft Legends concept art, so it is a canon shield. It's supposed to be like scrappy, right? Kind of like put together quickly, right? And I guess you could use this for decoration, but you'll see this naturally in the world, right? Piglins will spawn with this shield, the golden one, of course. And another shield for all the tiers that we added, also based on Minecraft Legends concept art, is the trial shield. And mobs in trial chambers actually can spawn wielding this, so that's pretty cool. And let's make a banner quickly, and using the Barely Default data pack, that's more creative than ever, because we've added a lot of banner patterns, even for free, because there's different banner patterns, right, that change the symbols you can get. So now we have the thing loaded, and we even added more symbols for the thing banner pattern. But even if we don't use an extra banner pattern, by default we already get a lot of extra materials, as you can see here, like all the numbers 0 through 9, the letters as well, and of course some other miscellaneous symbols. But let's just pick one of them to put it on our shield, because that still works with all the tiers of shields. So that's even more customization. All right, we're gonna put this musical note banner on a wooden shield, and look at that, it gets a wooden frame, so better than ever. I've made some more banners, so let's put them on the other shields. And basically this ensures that you have even more decorative possibilities, because you can now choose the rim over banner, basically, because if you hang these in an item frame, it will of course look really good. And you can actually see that the shield is flush with the wall, and I don't usually do that. I kind of think it's quirky to have the item frame still showing. I kind of like that. I think it's Minecrafty, but for these I figured I wouldn't do it, so you can use these to make custom paintings, right? Because if you have a wooden shield and you add a banner to it, it gets a wooden rim, and it already looks like a painting. So that's pretty huge. You can make custom paintings now, and then put the banner on a wooden shield, and there you go. You put it in an item frame, flush with the wall, custom paintings in the data pack. Boom. You just choose a rim for your painting, right? So you either have the classic wooden rim, right? Extremely cheap too, just a few planks, or you have a copper rim, or an iron rim, or a golden rim, or a diamond rim, or a netherite frame, of course, which is pretty expensive, but you could do that too. I think these are the most exciting. I mean, a diamond frame, very stunning. A gold frame is iconic, you know, you could use this in so many builds. I guess it's pretty expensive, but for custom paintings, it's pretty cool. You can have them be any way you want, of course. They are functional shields, so you can actually use banners on the shield like this, right? So this could be your vibe too. Then I was just thinking paintings on shields, right? Because of course these kind of look like paintings. I mean, essentially you can make your own paintings now. Then I thought, what if you could just rename all the shields to all the paintings? And you can see it works for all the tiers as well. So that's another thing you can do, even if you just want a painting on the shield. If you have a favorite painting in the pack, you can just get it on the shield, and then you can even then hang them on the wall again, so you have like smaller versions of all the paintings that we have. And this works with both data pack paintings or just vanilla paintings. Look, Creebet. And then if you're wielding Creebet as a shield like that, you just have a straight up painting as a shield. It is on its side, but that's just the way it works. All right, I had to do all the paintings. I didn't discriminate like this painting looks good on the shield, this one doesn't. I just did all of them, even if they just look messy. But Creebet, of course, I mean, if they're in item frames, you can just flip it around. But at that point, you just have exact same painting almost. It's a little bit smaller because it's a shield and item frame. And you can choose a custom rim, of course, but that's basically it, all right? Like, if some paintings just don't work as well as others. One that a lot of people might like is siding. This one is fully usable, right? You just have a pretty rainbow on a shield. Like, it's a pretty landscape. Like, you could totally use this. And I just think paintings on shield, it's kind of a vibe. It's almost like fashiony. And this one's just great. If you should make any of the shields of any tier, this is a pretty expensive one, the netherite one. I do not recommend it, but you could do it and turn them into pretty paintings, extra paintings, more paintings. We'll place the original painting. Look at that. It's just taken in the middle of the painting and it happens to be a rainbow. And that is super useful for these little paintings. They don't even Z-fight. You can do so much detailing with this, right? Look, this one's almost identical, but whatever. Look at this one. There's a mushroom in the middle. So that's what you get on your shield. Actually, I have a chest full of them. So these are all the vanilla paintings. And this is just on netherite. So this isn't even showing the full range of variation you can now play with. Burning Skull works well as a mini painting. Bust as well. It's just a guy looking at you, sort of like, I don't know, shyly maybe. Void Could be cool. An angel running away from the scene. Sunflowers, of course, works great, but my favorite one from the vanilla paintings is definitely bouquet, because this painting just has such nice colors, and then you just get this perfect shot of the bouquet in the middle. It just works wonderfully as a shield or as a mini painting, because this painting is quite big too, right? So you can now have a mini painting version of that. I don't know if I'm able to explain how much sheer variety there is. I hope you get it. But the easiest way to show off, or for you to learn even about the named variants in my pack, is probably just to check out this site. It's loading now. I know it's a big site with a lot of images. It might take a while to load. On my PC, it definitely does. This is it. I'll link it below, obviously. And if you wait for it to load past this, there will be an index and you can choose categories on the left. There you go. There it is. Sometimes you gotta expand it. You see this here, this button, you gotta click it. See, it expands the index. Anyways, if you do go to shields, at the very bottom, I do have all the paintings, right? What they would look like on shield. So you just rename any shield of any tier to, you know, all these are all the paintings. These are all the examples. All right, you get it. So this site's really useful. And for information on the Barely Default data pack, check out the Barely Default data pack wiki. It's kept by Cyclops, who codes the entire Barely Default data pack. And it has a lot of useful information, including a tab on painting variants, and you can just see all the available paintings as well. Actually, I didn't do the small paintings as available shield renames. Pretty big update, I think, and we really tried to like thicken it out, you know, give you shield renames and also the painting renames, and then have them be for all the tiers as well. Like, I hope that really feels like a big chunk of content to play with and to decorate with, to combine it with the banner patterns as well. Remember to comment about the painting in the beginning of the video. What do you think? What do you think it is? The winner gets to design a rename with me. And what that entails, I guess it just means that we go sit down and you design a weapon, basically. Or maybe if it's like an extremely obscure universe, you could be like, hey, add this weapon from this franchise. But if it's a popular franchise, then you can also just suggest it, right? You don't really need to win the contest to suggest something that I'll add, because I'll do that either way. So also comment your suggestions for which renames I should add next. Yeah, comment below. What do you think that painting was? It's a real life thing. So it's a picture, all right? And then just scale down, and that's all I did. And then you have to look at it and be like, what was this? All right. Yeah. All right. Well, have a nice day. See you later. See you next time.